Carlene Johnson from the Center Square, a must-read writer who has the, I guess you drew the short straw there, Johnson. Huh? You're covering everything in Olympia? Oh, taking your glasses off, are you, huh?
Yeah, I look better. I can't see you, but you can see me and I look better. Yeah, I am in the office of John Sadcast, broadcast coordinator for the House Republicans here, and he's been so kind to give me his office because I thought that I'd be home by this time today, John, but it just didn't happen. It's been one of those days at the Capitol.
Well, it's a lovely office. I see a thermostat, a light switch, and a clock. So let's get going here. And
the legend himself, Mr. Sadcast.
There he is. Oh, look at that.
There he is.
Look at that.
See?
Now, all right. So let's talk about a couple things that have drawn the ire of many. It's being referred to by Jim Walsh from the 19th, the Fighting 19th, as the initiative killer. This is SB, was it 5973?
That sounds right. Yep.
Yeah. Tell us about it.
Well, this bill, not really the same as the initiative killer attempt that they trotted out last year, but this one would require somebody, say it's a Brian Haywood, for example, with Let's Go Washington, who has an initiative idea to go out and gather 1,000 signatures of people that say, yeah, I would sign this again if it's actually qualified to get to the point of gathering signatures. So that's the first hurdle. And the probably even more troublesome issue based on the hearing I sat in this afternoon, John, is that it would say that you can pay signature gatherers by the hour. So it wouldn't prohibit paid signature gathering, but you cannot pay per signature. And the contention of the bill's sponsor, Javier Valdez, and those who spoke in support of it is that those folks out there gathering signatures are under just too much pressure if they're paid per signature, and that can lead to fraud.
Does he have evidence of fraud?
No, and that question was asked during the hearing, and the Secretary of State himself, Steve Hobbs, who testified against it, as did former Secretary of State Sam Reed. They said the same thing. They've got the checks and balances in place. That is what the office of Secretary of State Steve Hobbs does. You know, they check those signatures. If there's anything questionable, it gets set aside, maybe tossed out if there's plenty of, cushion for how many they need to qualify. So no evidence of that, but the assertion from the bill sponsor and those who testified in support of this is that this is just going to ensure that we have, integrity and transparency in our initiative.
Right, because what is the name of the initiative? Is it something like Protecting Democracy or something like that? Is what they're calling it?
Yeah, and it's interesting that you just said that, because I'm telling you, there had to have been, I don't know if it went out from WEA or SEIU or somebody, sort of talking points for every person who spoke in support of this thing, because they all used that language almost verbatim. And all of them, of course, attacked without naming him, except for one guy who accidentally said the name of Brian Haywood, and you're not supposed to do that.
Right.
But otherwise, they all brought up, the millionaires and billionaires who push this stuff for their own gain and their own greed.
Yeah.
I was sitting right next to Brian Haywood in that hearing because, of course, they pushed it to the very end of the 2-hour time allotment. And so we had a couple of brief exchanges as others were testifying.
It's sweet irony. In 1912, the voters of Washington did not trust the lawmakers. They said they're bought and sold, both Republicans and Democrats, by corporate interests, railroads and logging. And they said, once they get in there and they start passing these laws, we can't do anything about it. So they came up with the initiative process for the very reason that they didn't trust the lawmakers. And again, it was Republicans and Democrats. They said, we want a final say in this thing. So they set this program up, this initiative program, this referendum program, for the very sake so that the people themselves would be able to say, no, we don't like that law or like this law. But they're describing this one as the protecting the integrity of the state initiative and referendum process. they're not protecting it necessarily. I mean, this is my opinion, not yours. It seems like they're just trying to stop it. So Hayward pays, was it something like $5 a signature? I mean, it's a crazy amount of money that they pay these people. And they travel all around the United States.
Well, and the other thing was interesting because 3 of the folks who testified in opposition, one guy that was there from the SEIU in person and 2 others that testified, in support of the bill remotely, said that they had witnessed paid signature gatherers hired by, Haywood and Company.
Yeah.
And and in one case, the guy said, I watched for 8 hours outside of Fred Meyer in Tacoma. And the first thing that went off in my mind was, wow, dude, you had like a free day to sit there and just watch the guy gather his signatures.
Well, he's trying to protect democracy now.
Well, there you go.
These are patriots. They're patriots. Come on. Yes.
And his testimony was that the paid signature gatherer looked ill and frozen solid, and that then was lying about what the initiative, and this is going to be either the restoration of parental rights or the one to, protect girls in sports. The signature gatherer lied. So the suggestion was that the signature gatherer was cold and frozen and sickly because he was forced to be out there, but he was also a liar. Let's get that out there. So that we heard that over and over again. Yeah,
it's really interesting because when it was the referendum and the initiative bill was passed, the folks in Olympia back in 1915, 16, somewhere in there, said they wanted to get rid of it. They said, okay, now we're going to get rid of it. So then it went back to the voters, and the voters voted down that bill to stop it. They still said, nope, you weren't listening the first time. We want this. You trying to get rid of it. We want it. So that's going back to 1916 on this. So that's the one. Does it seem to have support? Have you heard from people in the hallways? Are they going to be voting on this?
Well, we had 10,000, I think it was 10,520 people who signed in opposition. We had 1,200 roughly that signed in support. So I don't know, it's like a 10-to-1 ratio of public, support or lack thereof on this bill. But it is scheduled for a committee vote out of that same committee, Senate Travel Relations, on Friday, I think 10:30 in the morning. I see.
And then the other one, you had a chance to sit in with our Attorney General, Mr. Brown. Were you at that press conference?
I was. It was interesting. So was my colleague from the Center Square, TJ Martinell, who has written this. Yeah, it's been a long day. It's been a long day, John, when you're wrote about stuff. My goodness. I just need something stronger than a Diet Coke.
Come on. It's Carly Johnson. Give her something stronger. All right. So
he is my Coke dealer here in Olympia, but it's for this.
So what did he spoke about? What did Brown spoke about? Yeah.
Well, so TJ has written extensively about, the bar complaint and other stuff. I know you talked about this in your show. So this was the first time that TJ has been able to come to a press conference, and God bless him, he drove from Startup, where he lives off Highway 2, to Olympia today to be at the presser. And you should have seen the look on A.G. Brown's face when he walked out to the podium. He saw not just me sitting in the front row, but my friend TJ sitting right behind me. And it was a beautiful moment. He kind of did a double take. And he did, he didn't really answer my questions or TJ's questions about some of the fraud investigation or TJ's, uncovering of documents that prove there could be some questionable conversations going on in the AG's office and those who work for him. So, unfortunately, didn't get answers to my questions, but we pressed him.
Well, you are known for asking questions that often don't get answers. The Center Square.
Then I'm not doing something right.
Well, I mean, you're asking either good questions or they don't want to give you the answer for it. We have Carlene's question. What was the one that she got recently ignored on? Which one was that, Joe?
The daycare question?
Was it the daycare question?
Yeah, they didn't like that one. That was the media veil from last week. And they suggested that those, what was it? It was aggressive, harassing reporters that were door knocking on Somali run home daycares, which I did in my community in Federal Way. to ask questions just as their daycare here, that we were really out of line.
Yeah,
and
we have you. You want to hear yourself actually speaking the King's English?
I love hearing myself.
Yes. Hang on. I don't know how many Diet Cokes you had for this one, but
I'm going to need another one. I can tell.
Joe found it. Joe, you got it?
As a reporter, I have every right to knock on that door and say, "You're getting a heck of a lot of money. Are you actually watching kids?" And you've got all
my two kids went to an in-home child care center. The woman who ran it is still to this day called Grandma Cindy by my kids in their 20s.
Care center too.
There's not a lock. There's not a gate going up to that front door. All of the regulations in the back for keeping the kids safe is in place. But if you were knocking on that door and I found out about it, I would lose my mind. That is a home. That is a home where a business operates to care for toddlers.
If it's a taxpayer subsidized daycare, we have every right to knock on the door and say, "Are you a legit operation?"
The Department of Children, Youth, and Families audits all of them every year. Did you report that to the Department of Children, Youth, and Families?
Right.
Or did you write a story about it?
They have performed audits and the findings have not been acted upon. That I have reported on.
So when you went and knocked on a in-home family child care center, did you report that there was nobody there to the Department of Children, Youth, and Families?
That there was no one from DCYF there?
No, there was. You said that there was no daycare going on there.
Right, there was no daycare there.
And did you report that to the Department of Children, Youth, and Families so they could follow up?
Absolutely.
Great. Well, I look forward to hearing that because they audit every child care center every year, and they haven't found the instances of the kind of fraud that has been alleged.
Okay.
Okay, and let me correct one thing.
Hold on, we're going to have Grandma Cindy on next. Grandma Cindy's coming on next, so go ahead.
Well, let me just tell you, because we found out from DCYF and a work session that turned out to be kind of a joke last week, that only 23% of daycares are audited on an annual basis. And that audit is often self-reporting. Them saying, yeah, I still watch 6 kids a day. Yeah, I still should be eligible for those subsidies. I don't know how you call that an audit.
Okay, there's more than 7,000 of these daycares in the state of Washington, and I was trying to figure out how many inspectors they have. They said they have 100, although that number is a little mushy. So there would have to be like 70 daycare centers they'd have to look at. But you found out they don't actually go. Only 28% get actually inspected. Are those the ones that have complaints against them, or they just randomly show up at those?
No, those are the ones, 23% where they go up. I was told by DCYF last week, 23% a year that they perform this annual audit on. Now, they say that they do annual inspections on all of them, unannounced inspections, but they even conceded in that work session, John, that oftentimes they go, and if we don't find any kids, then we'll do a follow-up. And the question was then, so you go back the next day and say, okay, why do you got no kids? I don't see a daycare here. Yeah. Or do you wait a week? What is that? How does that scenario look? Didn't get any questions answered. And I was disappointed, honestly, even with Republicans in that committee last week, they didn't push harder. I'm told that it's coming. I haven't seen it yet. But we are only on day 7 of the session. What day
Colleen, we're gonna have to send somebody.
Another Diet Coke.
We're gonna have to send somebody down there with a straitjacket for you because this is your first time on the air, and this is not going well, Joe. We can't do this to the woman. We're torturing her.
That's fantastic.
Are you still knocking on daycare center doors? Are you still doing that?
Well, I can't confirm nor deny at this point.
Okay.
Sadcast is laughing at me. This will never work. Yes, I have done a little bit more of that. I've gone out with my friend and yours, Jonathan Cho, because he has a little bit of a bigger budget for armed security than we do at the Center Square. And I'm not stupid. I've already had to make a police report because of some online threats. And, it's not something you mess around with in this day and age that we're living in. So I won't go out alone. I've been told by my husband I'm not allowed to.
Yeah.
So I will go out with company.
By the way, Jonathan will be no help because he refuses to wear anything other than flip-flops outside.
What is with those stinking sandals? I saw him again yesterday, and I'm like, dude, I will buy you shoes. I don't know if he has like a foot issue or he's afraid of something closed-toed. What is up?
I don't know. And you look at his toes, and you're like, I don't know. Put something on
those dogs up. I told him.
Nasty. They're all yellowy and twisted. It's just awful.
Okay, now you've gone just one step too far.
That's my job. All right, listen, I'll let you get back to whatever it is that you are doing on your way to the Nut House, Carlene Johnson from the Center Square. My best to your engineer over there. He's working hard, keeping you.
He's the hardest working man in Olympia. I got to show you, only because he's. Rumor has it he might not be around here a heck of a lot longer. Not of his own, decision, but
right.
Yeah.
I understand when
Right?
they take you out in the to the funny harm, they'll take him as well. All right, listen, I'll let you get back home, and we'll talk with you again soon. We'll find out about the latest going on there in Olympia. Thanks, Carlene.